Do people appreciate the effort you put into your relationships? Do people notice when you're trying to show them love and affection? Well, sometimes we fall into a certain category in how we express love. And it's normally the way that we want to be shown love is how we show it to others, which, because there's five different types of ways that you can show love, might not be the way that they appreciate it. My name is Nancy Mayer, and I'm going to be talking about the five different love languages. Now, you may be thinking, is this even important or have any value in my life? Well, if you're an adult who values healthy relationships, and these relationships can be friendships, they can be relationships with your partner or spouse, it could even involve relationships with your family members. For this video, our focus is on adults. However, there are a lot of different resources out there in regard to family relationships with teens or even younger children. So, how can I access information? Well, there are many different ways that you can research the five love languages. And one, you can access it on our Georgian College library database. Um, there are lots of different findings in regards to the five love languages. You can also go right to the five love languages website, the5lovelanguages.com, and access their quizzes to see maybe what your love language is. Now, we all can appreciate different aspects of the five love languages, and the quizzes will tell you what the order of how you appreciate and need to be loved, and they'll categorize it from 1 to 5 of importance. All right, so now what are the five love languages? Well, now that we have some background, let's dive on in. So, the five love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and physical touch. All right, so in order to understand what these mean, let's break them down a little bit more and talk about them. So, words of affirmation. So, words of affirmation is if it's your number one love language, what does that mean? Well, it means that you need to hear verbally that you are loved. You need to receive compliments. This type of acknowledgement is um, extremely needed so you could feel cared for. The saying that you mean the saying that you should mean what you say and say what you mean is extremely important to people who need to have words of affirmation in order to feel loved. Some examples of showing love and affection for people who need words of affirmation could be um, to be heard. Well, I love you, to actually physically say it to them, so they can let it sink in. You want to also encourage them verbally. That's a form of them feeling loved and cared for. You'll most likely enjoy getting notes of appreciation, even being sent love text messages. You enjoy compliments and even being acknowledged when you're doing well. These are all very important things to you if your love language is words of affirmation. However, there are ways and there are some things that you should avoid. So people who need words of affirmation do not appreciate insults or criticism. Since it's their love language, they feel criticism more deeply, and it has more of a negative impact on them. All right, quality time. If quality time is your love language, it means that you need to spend time with people in order to feel loved. The fact that people make time to see you or even just follow through with their plans mean the world to this type of love language. It also needs people's undivided attention. So no distractions. You need to be there mentally and physically. Um, so some other examples of how you could show love to somebody who values quality time could be something as simple as going for walks or attending a lunch meeting. Pre-planning thoughtful dates are very important as well. Family vacations, as well as even just something as simple as just gardening with them, or even just doing a workout. They really love to be appreciated and feel connected while they're with somebody, with one-on-one time. Love is really spelled Time, because time is really important to them. Your time is important to them. But there are some things that you could avoid. So as we said, distractions, as well as postponing dates and not listening. Um, these things have a bigger effect on them because that's how they receive love. So when you don't follow through with things, it deeply hurts them. All right, our next love language is acts of service. If acts of service is your love language, um, you're fully valued when people do things that ease your responsibilities and burdens. That's when you feel fully valued. It means the world when people go out of their way to do something special just for you, especially if they're sacrificing something in order to do it. This love language, sadly, is easily misinterpreted. Communication is key. When people ask how you would like to be shown love is something vital. Sometimes their help isn't wanted and doesn't come across as love. Some examples of acts of service could be just simple things like doing dishes or laundry, running errands, or fixing things around the house. Doing things without being asked are wonderful ways to show love. Some things to avoid: laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them. It doesn't show them love at all. So our next love language is receiving gifts. Receiving gifts and other gestures show that you are known and loved. These make you feel cared for. You thrive on thoughtfulness and effort behind a visual representation of love. You find yourself saying, if you find yourself saying, oh, excuse me, that it's the thought that counts, you're most likely saying it joyfully because you really appreciate their effort. Some examples are engagement rings, flowers, trinkets with their favorite TV show, animal, or even band, some memento from a meaningful date, bringing home their favorite treat, or even just trips to places they've always wanted to go. Basically, anything that they've talked about that you remembered enough to say or do something with them means the world. Even surprising them with just showing up and visiting um, yourself is a gift, and they also appreciate stuff like that. But there are, again, some things to avoid. So missing birthdays, anniversaries, or even just having like a thoughtless gift could actually show them that you don't care, or at least they'll think you don't. Physical touch. Physical presence and even physical accessibility are really important. Knowing someone is nearby who could give you a hug is, if needed, just means the world to the people who need physical touch. Hugs, even pats on the back, hand holding, and just being close are all meaningful. So some examples, as you would guess: cuddling, even kissing, a simple touch as you walk by, playing with their hair, rubbing their feet or back, sitting close on the couch, and any reassuring touch. Hey, how's it going? Or hey, I missed you. Even just touch on the shoulder could go a long way for this love language. Touching, uh, sorry, touching with love can be an emotional lifeline to your spouse and friend. Some things to avoid with physical touch could be neglect or even just any abuse of any kind. Positive physical touch is how they receive their core need of feeling and needing to be loved. So how to apply these strategies into your life right now? Well, as we said, you can go on to their main website to take a quiz to find out what your love language is, and even to find out maybe what your spouse's love language is, or your best friend, even your mom. Um, some other ways that you could do is is have small little goals, such as if you know somebody whose love language is touch, and maybe you're a quality time person, so you're not used to kind of going out of your way to do things for them. You would rather do things with them. You could make little goals to try to maybe give them a hug every once a week, or just something simple like that. So Gary Chapman was a marriage counselor who noticed this theory and has written various books based off of the different relationships that people have. His books are wonderful resources, but there are also a few studies done to prove his theories and that have ultimately brought joy to people by understanding how they need to be loved. So that's all for now. So I just thank you for taking time to listen to a little bit about the 5 love languages, and I hope you have a terrific rest of your day. Bye for now.